Poprosil by som pána doktora Michala Hasaru, projektového manažera projektu Sme si rovní, aby tento...
I would like to ask Dr. Michal Hasara, the project manager of the We Are Equal project, to introduce this project briefly. Also talk about the starting points, to also summarize what has been done and what will be performed later. Yes, thank you very much for the wonderful words of President Riapoš, but also of our guest, President of the Ukrainian Paralympic Committee, Mr. Sushkevich. Now we will deal more with the project. We will get a distance from the big topics. We will perhaps get to smaller Slovak topics, but we will definitely continue with what the presidents said. They both mentioned sport and movement. They both mentioned care and work with people with a disability, and the way how not to let people fall, but help them continue in life and go on. What is the We Are Equal National Project? This project is implemented especially by many of us who are here. Many of us are taking part in it. It is funded by the Ministry of Labour from the European Social Fund and the European Regional Development Fund. This has been implemented since 2020. Just a second. I had a presentation prepared, but I don't know if it works.
Skúsme prepnúť asi.
Let's move to the next slide, please. Thank you. So some basic data about the project. We Are Equal. The beneficiary is the Slovak Paralympic Committee. What is important and what the idea of this project is based on is peer-to-peer support. So basically sharing experience with motivators, between motivators and mentors and the client. This includes very personal information experience, which is unique for each people, whether it be, people without a disability probably wouldn't get this experience. We have been working on this project since February. Starting points of the project. Many of us has some experience with the demand project Paralela, which was organized in the previous period. During that period, we trained 50 motivators who started to provide their services in the National Rehabilitation Center Kováčova. This was the beginning. This was quite a small project which was implemented for a short time and on a restricted area. But after it finished, there was an ambition to create a much larger nationwide project with much more impact and a longer duration as well. We have created a new project which is called We Are Equal. And we started with the implementation in March 2020 by opening centers. We have opened 5 centers in Košice, Prešov, Žilina, Kováčova and Piešťany. We have 5 centers of early care or early assistance or early intervention with a total of 48 motivators and mentors. So these were people who were trained during the previous project of Paralela, and these people attended the introductory part of the trainings and education, but also mentoring and accepting new motivators. In March, we are opening the first early assistance centers, then in Piešťany, Žilina, Prešov and Košice. Last year in 2021, we accepted more motivators. Today the number is 48 or 47.
Sme, tak povediac, rovnomerne rozložení po celom Slovensku.
And these are spread out across all of Slovakia. quite proportionately, so we have a good representation. We are also thinking about opening a new center here in Chamorín for the southern Slovakia for clients who also speak Hungarian, because this is what we like currently. We have been working on the project for 2.5 or 3 years, and we know there is one problem, and that is COVID, which restricted us. It restricted the provision of the peer-to-peer support on the personal level, in-person level, and we were forced to move into the online space. And this is something we didn't really imagine or wished for at the beginning of the project. Fortunately, over the last months, the restrictions have been lifted. We can again deal with clients in person and provide them with personal assistance.
Čo je cieľom projektu? Cieľom projektu
What is the aim of the project? It shouldn't last only for 3 years, and we shouldn't provide services only for a limited time. We should standardize our system and prepare it for the future, so it would be financed from state or public resources, either from social insurance or by the communities, or we want to use motivators and mentors, thus you, for the future period, also for the benefit of the clients, but for the benefit of the state. We are carrying out various surveys, and we can see that the impact of your work is really positive, thanks to the casuistic, thanks to the personal approach and personal contact. You manage to get the clients either back to their social lives, family lives, or to the labor market, and they really manage much better to be active and continue their lives. So this is what we are going to present also to the Ministry for Family and Social Affairs, and we try to convince them so we can finance this work of mentors and motivators. Another ambition of this national project is to finalize the system of the care for patients with disabilities, and a very important role are these SCI units. We are trying to create the methodology of complex care for a patient with a spinal cord injury, not only from the medical point of view, but also from the social and rehabilitational point of view. We do have something like a promise from the ministry that it should be possible to open several SCI's units similar to the situation in Austria, Poland, and basically in whole Europe and European Union. And in these centers, motivators and mentors could continue to work there as employees or partners of these rehab centers. They would provide rehabilitation for the clients who would continue there. So we had the project Paralela, which was similar. Now we have the project We Are Equal, which is a national project, and we are preparing its continuation, maybe under the same title or a different one. But based on all the experience and everything that we learned within this project, we want to also implement in the future, for the future periods. Outputs of the project, it looks like some statistical data for the ones who are not aware of the data, who are not only from the national project. We also have representatives of ESKIV here. So we have 24 mentors, motivators who are trained. We have a center of methodological support. We have 5 regional centers, and we work with clients. This is the most important output for the client, the effect, the everyday effect which can be observed. Which is mentioned here, it's at least 1,000 clients we should have been cooperating during the course of the project, and we have cooperated with approximately 700 clients. So working with the clients, it's not an easy task. It's not about 1 or 2 meetings. You know very well it's a long-term work. Takes several months. We have also carried out group activities which were, of course, very much impacted by the pandemic restriction. It was problematic to meet in person and problematic to carry out planned activities. So we are trying now not to do it online any longer, as we got used to it, but we are now really aiming for the physical contact, and I hope we will manage for as long as possible. Working with clients, you are very well aware, I think, of it. We have some special contributions, motivations for the motivators. I think Mrs. Vrešťáková and Milan Kašiak will be discussing this topic, so I will not go into more details. You now see a map. Where are all the centers of early assistance located? Where are we now? We are almost in June 2022. We have methodology, we have the centers, we have a very good way of working with clients, and we are in the final spurt, I would call it. And we are very intensively working with the Mr. President on continuation of this project, and so it would last until the end of next year, and then it would transform into a new project or a continuation of the project. So it will be an alternative or a different project. We are equal, and so we could use all the knowledge, all the experience that we have gained during the course of this project. So that would be it from my side. Thank you for your attention. In case you have any questions, you can ask now, but there are no questions, so I will leave the stage.